hello, y'all. Welcome back. We are back in education mode. Are you guys ready? Strap in. Get your pencils ready. Get your notebooks ready. Load up. We are back on the education train. 2026. Let's start. Let's do this. So, you guys already know what's going on. You read the title. You know why you're here. Anthurium Lighting. What do they need? What are their needs? What kind of lights do you use? What do you like to use? What do I use? We're gonna go through all that, all the fun ins and outs of Anthurium Lighting needs. So guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Anthurium Papa, Papa to the Anthuriums. No, I did not create all these sexy Anthuriums, but slowly but surely I am creating an army, and I'm going to teach you how to create your own army, how to create beautiful Anthuriums that are dark, happy, and lovely. So stick around. 2026, we're going to come in hard. We're going to share tons of information, and we are going all over the place. So look forward to it. So let's get into it. As I said, lighting, Anthurium Lighting. Let's break it down. So what do these babies need in the wild? What are they getting in the wild? What's going on with them? So in South America, where these babies predominantly grow, our Panamanian and Colombian species are very dark, velvety cuties. Well, they are living in the deepest parts of the rainforest. They are a terrestrial species for the most part. We have some epiphytes, some babies that like to climb trees or will end up in trees, but for the most part, our species, like the ones behind me, are mostly terrestrial. Means they live on the understory, they live on the ground. What's above them is several levels of canopy, several levels of larger plants competing for light. So what does that mean? That means any light that gets through is going to be very minimal. It's going to be checkered, it's going to be pinhole lighting, it's going to be very, very minimum. So for an Anthurium, how do they go about getting their light needs in such a freaking low light environment? Well, they get very dark, first of all. That's their first line. That is what they're doing to try to just absorb that light. If you think when you go outside and you wear yourself a black t-shirt, you feel that heat collecting on that black t-shirt. That's the UV radiance. That is the sun putting its energy onto your t-shirt. So same kind of theory. They get very dark to try to absorb as much light as they can. So all that to say is they don't get a lot of light, y'all. So we don't need to stress about getting super high-end lights. We don't need to stress about getting the most high intensity, blah, blah, blah. No, it's actually quite the contrary with these guys. They want a nice, chill, low light, something that they can really get dark with. Any of these higher light situations, you're gonna notice they're gonna react to it. So let's get deeper into it. What are the types of lights? What are the types of lights that we could get? So predominantly what you're going to hear about are LED and fluorescence. These are the main indoor grow lights that we are dealing with. So with LED, we're going to see strips, which this here is a Barina LED T5 strip. So it's just a strip and LED, single strand of LEDs. These come in like T5, T8s, T10s. All this means is that the diameter is changing and you get more intensity because you're getting more rows and larger diodes in there. So you tend to get a little bit more power with like a T5, T8. So sometimes you have to back off your plants a little bit from those. I prefer a T5 just for a limited amount of space. I can cram more plants into a more limited space. If you're dealing with a larger space, you're dealing with large racks, maybe a T8 might work better for you, even a T10 for a larger area. To each situation is going to be different. That's what you're going to see with lighting is what are your goals? What is your end goal? And then that lighting will then meet your goal. So as I said, this is a strip light. This is a T5. They're offered in multiple sizes. This one is from Barina. There are multiple companies that do it. There's a whole mess of them. Barina is what I predominantly use. Their insurance program is awesome. If I have any problems with them, it's super easy to get them swapped out. I would say grow lights versus work lights in this series and even in other producers as well, I found that they actually work quite well for seedlings. I found that I don't need to spend the extra amount on purchasing a full spectrum in a light itself when I can just purchase a group of the shop lights in any length that I want, and they grow seedlings just fine. Dark, beautiful, stunning, fast. So take that as a tip. For my older individuals, I do go with a full spectrum, so keep that in mind as well. You will see as well as different colors. So what's up with the colors? There's a lot of opinions on colors. I am still doing long-term testing before I can really share my opinion, but I'll share others' opinions or what I've heard. So many think that the different colors of LEDs will actually make your Anthurium darker. Just from initial findings, I found that I haven't found too much of a difference. I found with Anthuriums, yes, lighting is a factor, but feeding, consistency, it's a multiple pronged fork that you need to be taking care of all those things to make sure you get beautiful dark Anthuriums. Lighting is just one of them. So a lot of people will say, hey, the purple lights, the pink lights, those create a darker leaf. It's still out in the air for me. I'm still testing. You already know me, and if you don't know me, I like to do long-term testing. I don't like to do any short-term testing. I like to make sure 8 months, 9 months, even a year of testing before I'll even say anything on a subject. So I'm still testing it. I'm still testing it. For my personal eyes, for having these lights in my living environment, I prefer the pink. The pink that Barina offers, not the full-on purple blurple you may have seen, just the pink. The white is also nice if I'm not actually moving around or having that light room next to my living room where I want a very much chiller light put into that environment. In my living room period, I would want more of a pink, light pink lighting because it's just much easier on the eyes, especially in the evening. I found that the blurple, the pink, full-on purple really just does not do well for my eyes. Kind of the white as well too, doesn't always affect my eyes the best. So I go right in the middle. And again, like I said, long-term testing, we're seeing which one is gonna be better. Initial findings, I'm not seeing too much of a difference, so I wouldn't stress on it too much. Still testing though, be on the lookout for future updates. So we've got our strip lightings. Additionally, we have square lighting. So this square lighting, like this one here, as you can see, is just one big board of LEDs. Pretty cool if you're needing to cover a large flat area. So if you're growing on a large table or you're growing on the floor and you're trying to cover multiple big mamas, like a big sea of big mamas, this is perfect for that. I would definitely suggest that. For shelf situation, it's not gonna work as well, but for large covering, I've seen like people were growing on big ebb and flow tables or big grow tables, and then they'll put a couple of these across the top. You get nice light coverage, you can actually adjust the intensity, so another option. I like those if you're covering big areas, not always an option for everybody. Another couple options, I just kind of grouped all these ones together, are just kind of the funny shaped ones, the small circle ones. These are perfect for shelves. This was actually another one from Barina, has a magnetic magnet on it, so you can actually put it on your shelves. It sticks to them. You can create a daisy chain of them as well. They've got a lot of LEDs on there, so it makes a small place that you wouldn't normally be able to grow plants possible to grow plants. So definitely keep that in mind. These are the little pendant ones. I'm actually gonna do a review or a kind of breakdown on them because I've had them for a little bit. I've been doing long-term testing on them as with everything before I'll talk about them. So be on the lookout for that video as well. These are super cool, like puck style, really nice. Additionally, you'll have bulbs that you can actually replace that will look much like that on the end, but it will have a regular connection where you can just screw that into a fixture. You can screw that into a can light. Again, customization. You can go a lot of different routes with these different light values. There's also can lights that you can hang from the ceiling on strips. Then you can replace the bulbs as well with grow lights. Additionally, there are pendant lights. So these are the ones that hang. Pendant lights. So you can hang these over large individuals, like large monsteras, large anthuriums. You can adjust the focus so it focuses on a single plant or widens out on a bunch of plants. You can tilt them, make them go in. There's a bunch of awesome producers for these guys. So there's a lot of options. All that to say, I just want to show you as many crazy options as I had on hand, because I'm always experimenting. But all that to say is take a look at your goals, take a look at what you want to do, and that will point you in the right direction for lighting. What is going to be your bulb need, your setup need, all that fun stuff. So what are some of the pros of LED lighting? First, they are very, very energy efficient. When we are comparing to fluorescents, they are so energy efficient. Low heat, again, when comparing to fluorescents, very, very low heat, which is important, especially in tents, in small rooms. We want to make sure we're keeping that heat as low as possible so we're not having to fight it that whole time trying to bring it down. Long life. The long life of an LED strip is awesome. They tend to last multiple years if treated properly. So that's also, fluorescents don't tend to last that long. They tend to burn out. You're having to replace them, all that fun stuff. Some of the cons is the high cost. Yes, there's a higher cost, higher buy-in with these guys, but the efficiency and longer lasting outweighs the cons. So fluorescents, as I said, I don't have any fluorescents on hand. It's just those long tube ones. When they go out, they flicker. I'm sure you know exactly which ones I'm talking about. Those were used. People still use them for greens, things like that, but they're older technology. They tend to be less efficient. They tend to be they don't last as long. It's a higher cost in the long term. So that's things to keep in mind. I prefer LED overall. You're just gonna find the benefits to LED in the long term just much better. The different wavelengths, colors you can choose as well. The heat, it's just so many benefits over the fluorescents. So you may be thinking, how much light in general do these need? Because I'm sure you've heard terms like foot candle meters, things like that. You can absolutely get. I personally go by observation. So I'm observing my plants. I'm seeing, are they getting very dark? Are they stretching, which means are their petioles getting super long, and are they stretching and looking at that light, trying to get it, just not quite getting as much light as they can? If I see that, I bring the light closer. If they're kind of pointing away, if they're lightening, if they're bleaching, that's kind of indication, ooh, we're giving them too much light. And that is where the observance comes in. Once you find out early on, okay, I'm finding out that T5s for, my bigger mothers, I'm about 1 foot to 1.5 foot away from the light. I found that in that range for most species, they're happy. You may have to move some further away, you may have to move some closer, but again, observe, start there, see how it treats you. I found that once I took too many numbers into account, once I started having meters for everything, once I started just like stressing about all the numbers, it really took a lot of joy out of what I was doing. So I was really trying to, okay, which do I absolutely need? pH for sure, I'll check that monthly. TDS meter, a total dissolved solids for my RO unit. I definitely want to keep a track on that one because it's going to tell me exactly when my filters have gone bad. For light, observe. I simply observe. I don't feel that I need a light all the time. I need a light meter to check my light all the time. By all means, if you find joy in that, like I said with my nutrition video, my water video, if you find joy in playing the mad scientist and mixing your witch's brew and checking all the numbers, do not let me take that joy away from you. This is so much about how you want to grow your anthuriums. This is so much about you finding joy in the routine, so much about you finding joy in each emergence. So you have to create your program around your joy. Cool? I know, it's so hokey, it's so corny, but it totally makes sense. Once you get into it, you're gonna find the most joy in your routine, in the routine that works best for you. I know. Again, so corny, but it totally makes sense. Biggest thing, again, like I said, observe for bleaching and chlorosis, for any kind of yellowing, anything like that. Those could be other signs, but those are also signs of too much light. So I keep an eye out for those. Stretching, I keep an eye out for those. That lets me know, hey, I need to move them in, move them out. It tends to be pretty straightforward. If you start speaking their language, they know what's going on. Then you'll know what's going on, I should say. So how many hours of light? For our babies, naturally, they get 12 hours year round because they are on the equator. So the equator is getting that constant 12 hours year round. So we can replicate that. We can give them 12 hours. I give mine 14 hours. There are other growers that give them 16 hours. There are growers that give them 18 hours. So as long as you're giving them 12 plus, they're gonna be happy. They're gonna be happy. So that's really all you need to worry about. How do we stay on top of this? Timers, analog timers versus digital timers. So you'll see you have your analog ones, which is just a little clicky wheel, and it clicks down by second, tick, 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 and you hit the little tabs down. Pretty simple. I love those. You can't really have any control over those beyond like a little switch, but if you need to like turn them off, you physically have to unplug it. Don't really like that. Personally, I like the powered light switches, the Wi-Fi light switches. I'm gonna add those. I believe I've already added them, but I'll make sure I add them by the end of this video, just to make sure. I use ones that you can control off an app. I can label them. I can just turn them on and off whenever I need. Love, love, love. So definitely sort yourself out with those, because when you're out and about, if you need to turn them on, turn off for whatever reason, it's really nice. You can even get thermometers on that as well, put alerts as well, so you know when your tent maybe has gotten too hot, maybe the humidity's gone too high. You can run alerts on all this situation. So use the technology to your benefit when you can. So what is all this about? Lighting, let's review real quick. So many different types of lighting. So many different types of lighting. LED, fluorescence. We've got different pros and cons for both of them, but predominantly we found that for our uses, to keep the heat down, LEDs are the way to go. We saw that there are a bunch of different types of LEDs we can use, so definitely review each one, see your goals, what your end goals are, what you want to do, and man, you will be on track. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to give my opinion, my experience. By no means is it an expert opinion or expert. I hear so many people say, oh, thank you so much for your expert opinion. No. I'm just willing to mess stuff up. I am just willing to experiment. I am willing to do the long-term testing and observe, and I'm a scientist at heart. I've always admired the scientific method. So I've just taken a lot of risks, and I've learned a lot from those risks. So take from me, take risks. We've got a lot of insurance nodes on many anthuriums when they're older, so you can mess around. You can really find out what works best for you, what works best for your anthuriums, because many times you may be experimenting and you may find something even better than what I currently do. And you better share. You better share. I'm gonna be so mad if you don't share. If I see you're doing something fancy and you didn't tell me, we're gonna have issues. I'm just kidding. You know I love you guys. So, what'd you think? Do you feel educated on lighting? Do you feel like I could talk about lighting to someone now? I hope so. I certainly hope so. As always, thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support in 2025. It was absolutely amazing. This was such a fun little project that turned into a passion now. I freaking love making these videos. I love editing them. I love putting them together. And I love bringing them out to you guys and hearing what you think and getting notes from you guys. So please get in the comments. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to hear, anything that I missed, what lights you use. Maybe I didn't cover something. So please get in there, share. All of us learn from each other. Closed mouths don't get fed. So please share. Before I get out of here, I want to remind you, I do have merch. I have the new t-shirt drop, Papa Side Hug t-shirt. We've got hoodies for all my cold weather peeps, for all my house hoodie peeps. Amazing high quality hoodies, high GSM, which means just high density cotton, very high quality construction. I did not mess around at all. You already know, I do not mess around. If you want to get any of my babies, come join me on Palm Street every Thursday and Sunday. I go live. Make sure you jump in there. If you don't feel like getting on those, feel free to reach out. Usually on my website, anthuriumpapa.com, I have the current seedlings up on there. Scoop one from there. By all means, reach out if you had any questions, concerns. I'm always happy to help. Instagram, Facebook, Anthurium Papa. You already know because you're watching it. YouTube. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. We'll see you next time. But the most important thing of all, we simply cannot forget, we must keep growing forward. I love you guys so much. We'll see you on the next one. Can't wait to come back. Bye, guys.